Hello. Today we're going to talk about run flat and non-run flat tires. A few things that I want to go over, and by the end of the video you should be able to tell how to identify a run flat tire, as well as what do you need if you convert to regular tires. What should you have in your trunk in terms of an emergency, or you happen to pull over on the road and you have to change one of these tires. So let's get started. I'm going to show you basically what a run flat tire look like, how to identify them. We're going to go to, first we'll show how do we identify the tire size, and the tire size for this tire is 245, 40, or 20. For this car it's staggered, meaning the front tire size is different from the rear tire size. Let's take a look at the rear tire size and see what the size for that is. And as we get a little bit closer, the rear tire size is 275, 35, or 20. 275 is the width, 35 is the height, R is radial, 20 is the diameter of the rim, and of course you have various sizes. If that number is different, let's say 16 inch, it'll show 16. But those are various tire size of the rim. I remember going to the Mercedes dealership, the parts department, and the gentleman in front of me, the sales clerk, asked him, "What's your tire size?" And he didn't know. And I think that's pretty basic to know what your tire size should be. But again, how do you identify a run flat tire? If you you probably want to look for a symbol similar to that what you see where it says run on flat, or ROF. That's the abbreviation. Different manufacturers, different tire manufacturers have different symbols, different letters to identify them. Okay, so some of the different manufacturers, Continental have SSR, SSR self-supporting run flat, Dunlop DSST or ROF, run on flat, Goodyear ROF or EMT, Bridgestone RFT or SC or ROF, Michelin ZP, Hancock you have HRS or B, Pirelli you have RSC, and Yokohama you have ZPS. So these are the different technologies for a run flat. But from experience, I converted my run flat to non-run flat tire because they were cracking my rim. And coming over here, I've already replaced 3 rims, actually repaired 3 rims. The right rear, the front left, and the left rear rim. This rim actually has a crack in it, and with this video I'm gonna change the tire, bring the rim to my repair shop, and basically get it fixed and repaired. And I'm gonna show you what a perfectly good rim should look like, with no spots or blemishes or cracks in it. Alright, so what I have in front of me is the front spare rim. I'm gonna show you normally in terms of cracks, which is what a run flat tire will do to your rim. It'll actually crack it like an egg, and I'm gonna show you the reason why. Let's go ahead and bring this thing up, and basically we're looking to see what the rim is supposed to look like. And more than likely, when you do have cracks, they'll appear on the lip. This is the actual front of the rim, and this is 20 inches. Alright, so let's see why these rims crack with run flat tires. Let's go ahead and put that down. We'll go ahead and we're gonna put back the run flat tire. Now, run flat tire have strong sidewalls, prevents the tire from collapsing, but it has pros and cons. The pros is that you can't tell if you have a flat. You need a tire pressure monitoring system in your car to let you know when you do have a flat. And I remember one time coming over the bridge, hit a pothole, and all of a sudden my dashboard showed red. My tire pressure showed absolutely 0, and I was able to drive home great. But the bad thing about run flat is the sidewall is so stiff. And this is the inside of the tire. Nice looking tire, but like I said, it does have pros and cons to it. So that's the pros. The pros is that you'll never get a flat. The con is that it'll crack your rim. And I'm going to take off one of the rim. I'm going to show you what a cracked rim look like, and then I'm going to show you what you need to have in order to have regular tires and what you should have in your trunk. Alright, so let's go to the back of the car. We're going to open up the trunk. And this is my spare. My spare is a run flat tire because I'm not going to use it that often, only when I have a flat. So let's go ahead and take the tire out. This is my air compressor, which is definitely a must. I have a light, and this is F is at dark, and I need to change my flat at nighttime. And these are a pair of gloves because I don't want to get my hands dirty while I'm changing the tire. So we're going to go ahead and take the tire out, and underneath that, of course, I have a mat, so when I'm kneeling on my knees I can easily change it. And of course I have my ratchet set tool. So that's the bare minimum that you need. And last but not least, we'll go in back of the car and I'll show you the jack. Okay, so there you have it. The back of my trunk has a 2.5 ton Husky Jack. It's low profile. Low profile meaning it can go underneath the lowest car. So a jack is definitely needed. You need maybe 2 or 3 bricks so you can put behind your wheel so the car doesn't roll back while you're jacking up the car. Pair of gloves, like I said earlier, a mat, a little light here you can plug into your car, and of course your ratchet set. And we can go ahead and jack up the car. Of course it's also nice to have an air compressor as well. Take this out, and of course an extension cable if you need it. So I'm going to show you step by step what you need to do to get that tire change. And like I said, we want to keep safety in mind, because when you do have to pull over and you have to work in your car, you have other cars zooming past you, rocking your car, you know, because of the wind that is pushing. All right, let's get started. So we'll go ahead and take our light. And this is actually here. Open this up. Open this up. We're going to plug this in. And now we have light, and this is for if you need to work in the dark, you want to see what you're doing. First, we're going to take these little bricks, put behind the tire of the car. And we're going to put 1 brick in front of the tire that we're not going to use. And that's my spare tire that I'm going to put on. And that spare tire I actually got from my rim repair shop. They ordered it for me. I didn't want a donut. I wanted something comparable to what I have now. So, and we're going to point the camera up. And where I have my hand pointing, if you can see, this is where we're going to put the jack. This is where the jack is actually going to lift up the car. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead, we'll tighten this thing up. We'll come in here. And we just want to make sure that the jack is lined up properly. And now that we know that the jack is lined up properly, we can go ahead and jack up the car. Till the front tire lifts off the ground. All right, and that's should be pretty good enough. The lug nuts are already loosened, so all I'm going to do is loosen them, take off the tire, put on the new tire. We'll see how it looks. And what I'm using right now, what size is this? This is 11/16, if you can actually see it here. Alright, let's go ahead and take the tire off. We're going to spin it around. And we're going to basically look, and there's the crack. Crack is right there. Alright, so that's what run flat tire. And I converted this tire yesterday. The run flat was on yesterday. I put on a regular tire, but it was too late. Damage is already done. So this rim is going to my rim repair shop where they're going to repair it. So let's go back to, let me just move this here and you can see it. Eventually this is going to fail. This is going to fail, and that's what you don't want. So you rather take care of this now than later. Now if you can remember what the rim I showed you earlier looked like, where there's no blemish or cracks in it whatsoever. But let's go ahead and put on the spare tire, see what it looked like. Alright, first things first, remember that the gadget that I told you I got from Amazon? And you can also get this from eBay as well. Put it in here, take it, turn it, goes all the way in. Alright, and this is where you're gonna put your wheel on, so it makes it a lot easier to mount your wheel and you can line up the screws. Alright, so let's go ahead, see what it looks like. Alright, so this is what the screws look like when you use this. It's a lot easier to put in the rest of these guys and tighten it, rather than trying to find a hole and, you know, just struggling. Okay, one thing that I almost forgot to tell you, your spare tire comes with nuts, which is designed for the car, and this is your regular studs for your regular tire. You gotta make sure you don't mix them up, because this, if you try to put it in here when you're driving, you're gonna feel like something is loose. So you definitely don't want to make that mistake. Make sure you use the appropriate nuts that come with your spare tire, and so you won't have any issues. And let's take a look at the Husky Jack here, and the pivot point, which is right there, if you can see. And remember, always use that as a reference. The rear, I don't know if you can see from here, but the rear has the same pivot point where you put your jack, and that's it. All right, if we take a look at the rear, and there go a jack point, which is here, which I have my finger on. This is where you will put your jack. Jack at the rear of the car. So one for the front and one for the back, and you just have to come underneath and just look for it. All right, and there go the front. All right, here I have a 2-ton jack versus my 2.5-ton jack, and notice the mere difference. You don't want to use that in the side of the highway, because that will actually tilt up if you try to put the weight. Remember, this is a heavy car, it's 4,000 plus pounds. You want a 2.5-ton jack, not a 2-ton jack, to lift up your thing in emergency. You'll thank me later for spending the extra money and getting the bigger size jack. All right, so we're just about done from start to finish. Things to look out for, run flat versus non-run flat, and what a crack rim look like. Hopefully you learned a lot, you enjoyed the video, and subscribe and like, and I'll talk to you soon.